Hello.
Yes, Patan sir, can hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, seeing the attendance. Okay, good afternoon, students. Let's wait for.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Wait for 5 minutes. Start the webinar.
Can we start, sir? अभी सर ऐड हो रहे हैं स्टूडेंट सब.
Okay. Patan sir, please inform me whenever Beg sir had came. Patan sir, can you hear me? Sneha madam, can you hear me?
हेलो. जी जी.
अभी आ रही है आपको आवाज?
अभी सर नहीं आ रही आवाज.
क्या आ रही है?
लेकिन इधर तो
हेलो
हेलो.
हेलो मुज़ैफ, दिस इज बेग.
यस सर. यस सर.
मेरी आवाज आ रही
यस
है
सर.
आपको?
आप यस सर, आपकी आवाज आ रही है हमें. आप क्लियर भी दिख रहे थे.
ओके.
Okay, sir. Very good afternoon. Thank you. Very good afternoon to all respected dignitaries, teachers, and all my dear students. I, Kishan Jaiswal, Assistant Professor of Shreyas Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, welcomes you all. Today we are conducting webinar on Introduction to Bioanalytical Studies for Clinical Research by Dr. M. L. A. Bexer. This webinar is of two sessions. all have to join again with the same link. Question answer sessions will be there at last. You have to raise your hand for it. Okay. Now I invite my colleague, Mr. Ujay Patan sir, to give brief introduction of our speaker, Dr. MLA Beg sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaiswal sir. Hello everyone. My name is Pathan Uzeb Khan, Assistant Professor of Science of Pharmacy, Aurangabad. Now I am introducing our honorable and today's guest and speaker, Dr. MLA Beg sir. Beg sir had completed his B.Pharm, M.Pharm and PhD from Jamia Hamdard University, New Delhi. He had also cleared US FDA exam. He had published many of the research papers in reputed journals. He had also studied more than 100 molecules on bioavailability and bioequivalence and successfully submitted to US FDA and MHRA. He is successfully running the department in compliance with international regulatory agencies like US FDA and MHRA. He is now Associate Professor, Associate Director of Clinical Pharmacokinetics and Biopharmaceutical Department of Wakad Research and Development, Aurangabad. He has more than 20 years of working experience in bioanalytical field. So this is the short introduction of Dr. MLA Beg sir. So thank you, sir, for giving your valuable time with us. Now I request to Dr. MLA Beg sir to share his valuable experience with us. So now you can continue.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you very much, Joseph.
Yes.
Am I audible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I apologize, say multiple times this webinar being delayed because of my preoccupation. I'm really very, very sorry, right, to keep you awaited.
It's okay, sir. No problem.
Yes.
Say, Joseph, what kind of audience is it? B.Pharm, M.Pharm, what kind of students are there?
Sir, they are students of B.Pharm of third year and final year students.
Oh, that's great. To you all, boys and girls, first of all, I welcome that you are studying pharmacy, right? And being in your last final year or third year, you might be having very great expectations out of once you come out of this. You come out with degree. What are you going to do? Now, Joseph has asked me to present something regarding clinical research. I'll try to give you a broad overview. But prior to giving you overview, I request you all, because I carry around 22 years of experience here, I am involved in recruiting people. With very pain, I am telling you. Nowadays, though you people are having a good resources, big resources there, internet, you have much more resources than our generation, but still you are not using these resources positively. You come up with good degree, good marks, but whenever because say nowadays you will be judged by some person in industry by interview. And he will give you just 5 to 10 minutes. And in that 5 to 10 minutes, you have to prove. That you cannot prove unless until you have good knowledge of that subject. Right? If I interview, say 100%, I just get hardly 5 persons, those who are really, really, really good students. So please don't study for sake of degree, study for sake of knowledge. Right? Now this is regarding clinical research. Whenever you listen word clinical, one point should come into your mind that it is something related to human being. Clear? Clinical means something related to human being. Whenever a new drug is discovered, first of all, we do animal studies. That comes under non-clinical studies. Thereafter, it goes for human trials. All human trials falls under clinical trials. Now, my department exclusively we are dealing with bioequivalence studies, where since Wockhardt in brand generics, we make generic drugs of existing molecules. What we do after making a formulation, we have to do bioequivalence study to prove that our formulation is equivalent to the innovator's product in human plasma, in human beings. For this, what we do, we select healthy human being. We divide into these human beings into two groups, group A and group B. To group A, we give test formulation, single dose, and same time to group B, we give reference drug, single dose. Then we wait. Then we take after different time points, we take different samples. Say after half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, up to 24 hours, 48 hours, or 72 hours, depending upon its half-life. At least time points we cover at least 3 half-lives, so that 80% drug is eliminated. Once period 1 study is over, those who have received test formulation, that group, we give them reference formulation, and vice versa. So that means a single person, same individual, once he gets test formulation, another time he gets reference formulation. And then we compare with this profile of this PK, pharmacokinetic profile of these two different drugs. And if it falls within 80 to 125% criteria laid by regulators, then it meets the bioequivalence criteria. Now, question comes. There, I just mentioned that we need volunteers. We collect sample and then we analyze it. That means clinical research broadly we can divide into two major parts. First part is clinical part, where we do dosing. Second part is the sample what we have collected, we do analysis. Hope I am clear.
Yes, sir.
Uzaif, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are clearly audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Right. So while doing clinical study, we cannot, as I mentioned, that we need healthy human volunteers. So how to select that healthy volunteers? What kind of volunteers we want? What we can do with volunteers? What we can't do with volunteers? What are the ethics involved? What are the regulations involved? These are covered by the good clinical practices. Just hold a second. Now, what is good clinical practices? I don't know how to set it. Good clinical practices are an international ethical and scientific quality standard for designing, conducting, recording, reporting trials that involve the participation of human subjects. This all this is given in ICH GCP E6. The purpose of clinical trials, there are two main. And secondly is ensure that data, whatever we are generating, is reproducible and reliable data. For this, principal investigator is overall in charge of any clinical trials. And basic principle of GCP is, if it is not written down, and if you can't find it within hours, it doesn't exist. That means for every procedure you are doing with volunteer, it has to be documented properly. And once the study is finished, if some auditor comes, then you have to reproduce it within 1 hour. If you are not within 1 hour, that means for any clinical trial to start, first of all, there has to be one protocol. This details why and how to conduct a trial, and can only be changed by an amendment. All members of the research team should have to read that protocol and understood it. Without protocol, you cannot initiate any study. And protocol has to be signed by all the relevant person, including you have to take ethical permission to conduct a biostudy. Second thing, you should have investigator brochure where all the relevant information of that particular drug has to be there, has to be made available for the investigator. There are few essential documents. Suppose there is a one doctor or investigator, he wants to delegate his responsibility to somebody else, then it has to be documented. You should have screening or enrollment logs available with you. You should have all the documents, all the communications you are making with the investigators or the volunteers, all the and standard operating procedures in place. If you are, due to any reasons, you are changing protocol, it has to be controlled by the version control, and you should have both versions, previous version and the amended version available with you. Now, if you have volunteers, any volunteer to participate, you should have informed consent signed by him. Now, what is informed consent? A process by which a subject voluntarily confirms that he is willing to participate in a trial, after having been informed of all aspects of trial that are relevant to the subject's decision to participate. Informed consent is documented by means of written, signed and dated informed consent form. That means if you are taking any volunteer in the study, you have to explain all the procedures, what you are going to do with that volunteer, what sample he has to give, what harm that medicine can do to that volunteer. All thing has to be explained to that subject, and he has to give voluntarily his assent, and he has to sign and date it. Only then you can take that person in biostudy. Without signing informed consent, you cannot dose, or you cannot take any sample from any of the volunteers. Now, there are certain volunteers, like I'm working in an organization. If I have my say colleagues or my employees, I cannot take them as a volunteer because they are volunteers. So you cannot take such volunteers. And at the same time, suppose any subject has given his consent and he is now participating in biostudy, at any given point of time, without giving any reason, he has right to withdraw himself from a biostudy. This right is always available with the volunteer. Now, for any biostudy, you have some drugs which you are going to study. with that of those who are doing actual studies. Quality assurance governs all the SOPs, guidelines, instruction manuals, and policies. How this whole study to be conducted. Now, once studies is started, whatsoever procedure with a volunteer, everything has to be documented. We document it is in CRF. We call it CRF, case record form. And it is mandatory you directly document on that CRF. Rather, you cannot note down on some notepad and then transfer it. This is not acceptable. Single line and sign and date with reasons why there was some errors. Once hello. Hello.
Sir, you can continue.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You are.
Okay. Say once the study is completed, now it is mandatory you have to make a complete report of it, and it has to be audited by independent quality assurance team. Now this I just briefly explained the concept of the clinical part. Once clinical part is over, now that samples are transferred to a bioanalytical division. Now, bioanalytical division, we do our analysis. In case of bioanalysis, in fact, we don't have ready-made methods available with us. For example, you want to do a study on azithromycin. Then we develop a method, extraction method, chromatographic method for azithromycin and validate it. Only then we can use that validated method for the analysis of that samples what we have got from the volunteers. Say, once the sample is transferred, now GLP comes into picture. Now, what is GLP? It was implemented because to ensure that reliability, integrity of the study, planning, monitoring, recording, and reporting of biostudy results. And further, study result has to be archived, and archived minimum of 10 to 15 years or as per regulatory standards. Now, first of all, for any study to conduct, there has to be proper resources. There has to be proper study personnel available with you. There has to be proper facilities. Then again, as we do clinical study, we have clinical protocol. For analytical study, analytical analysis, we should have protocols or standard operating procedures. And whatsoever we are doing laboratory, whatsoever solution we are preparing, whatsoever dilution we are preparing, it has to be documented online and recorded. And if there is any error, it has to be strike off with single strike without obscuring previous reading, and with sign and document if there are any changes. And whenever you are doing any activity, you have to document it live. You cannot do experiment today and you are documenting on the next day. This is not allowed. Quality assurance for clinical review. And quality assurance person cannot directly report to the bioanalytical head. That has to be independent of that, the person, those who are involved in analysis. Now, there are certain when signing your work means that you take full responsibility for the correct completion of your task. In GLP or GCP, whenever you sign, you take complete ownership wherever you are signing. Second, the contents of job description should correspond to the qualification as described in the CV. Likewise, if you are doing analysis, whatever your expertise are there, whatsoever you are supposed to do, it has to be there in writing as your job description. And moreover, your job description based on your skills, because over the period of time you develop and upgrade your skills. It has to be regularly updated. It is also mandatory that lab where you're working, they have to maintain your curriculum vitae, your CV, where you mention all your qualifications as well as your experience and training. And GLP also mandate whenever some training is important, analyst, there has to evaluate whether you have received adequate training or not. Sometimes candidates fail. In case of your examiner is not satisfied, you are supposed to be retrained and again an exam has to be taken, so that whatsoever you are doing it perfectly, it is ensured. All instruments, whatsoever you are using for GLP analysis, all instrument has to be properly calibrated and properly qualified, including your softwares. While developing a method, some working standards, it has to be best available quality with of the working standards in GLP environment. It is always preferred to use USP, BP or IP certified standards. Whenever your study is completed, you have or unused plasma sample, then it has to be properly documented and disposed as per national laws. You cannot just throw away in dustbin. All raw data collection, I already mentioned, it has to be promptly done. It has to be accurate. It has to be legible. It has to be signed. It has to be dated. And if there are any corrections, it has to be mentioned over there. Finally, after once analysis is over, then you have to prepare the study report. The study report has to be signed, and it has to be verified by quality assurance unit. Without quality assurance unit, you cannot release any of your reports. One more responsibility quality assurance does is at least once in a year, he does complete audits and inspections of your facilities. And whatsoever suggestion he gives, you have to implement within given period of time. And once complete study is completed, once the study is completed, all document has to go to your archives, where you have to keep it for at least 10 to 15 years, depending upon different regulatory agencies' requirement. And you have to produce whenever there are some audits by regulators, you have to produce it within on demand within 1 hour. If you are not able to track your document within 1 hour, agency may conclude that you never did such kind of activities. Now, this was I just completed GCP and GLP part. So now what I do in my lab. In my lab, I have multiple LCMS we develop method on LCMS, our own method. As just mentioned, that suppose I have to develop method on azithromycin, we do, since I get sample in plasma, usually in plasma, human plasma, then I have to extract it in best purest form. For extraction, sample extraction, there are 2-3 different techniques. One is simple protein precipitation method, where we add some organic solvent like methanol or acetonitrile in human plasma in 1:3 ratio and precipitate. So that your protein gets precipitated, and we centrifuge it. Then what supernatant we get, we directly inject into the LCMS. But this technique seems to be, it doesn't give that much of clean sample. Even with best centrifuge, we get some portion of soluble proteins remain in plasma in sample, which gives trouble in getting a bad peaks. Then second methodology is liquid extractions, where we take plasma, human plasma, we add to some organic solvent which is immiscible. Remember, for liquid extraction, we use immiscible liquid with plasma. We add it, centrifuge it so that here we get a comparatively better clean sample extract for LCMS. Now, third, the best sample extraction technique is little bit costlier. I would say it costs, we do solid phase extraction. Individual cartridge costs somewhere around say 50 to 100 rupees per sample cartridge. But it gives most cleaner sample available possible, and it improves signal to noise ratio as well. So we prefer in industry, we prefer either for solid phase extraction or liquid extraction. We don't prefer protein precipitation, as it gives it doesn't give that much clean sample to us. After extraction, once extraction is there, then we have to analyze sample for analysis. As per FDA, US FDA guidelines, there has to be 6 to 8 minimum calibration curve time point, and all your clinical samples, what we receive from clinic, period 1 and period 2 samples, period may be a test having dose test, or period 2 may be having dosed reference. We take single subject sample together, and we add to it low, middle, and high quality control samples. We process this along with quality control samples. Now there must be a question: what is quality control sample? Quality control sample is nothing but sample with known quantity of drug. What is the concentration available in quality control sample, so that we process a known sample along with the quality control sample, and we place quality control sample after every 4 or 5 unknown sample. The performance of a known quality control sample gives the confidence whether my batch analysis was done perfectly or not. There are certain guidelines that quality control concentration should fall within plus